All right. Roll call. Councilmember Evans here. Councilmember Watson is here. I'm here. Reports and presentations. Shawnee.
Yes,
You're
so
up
as
first.
you can see, the staffing update in front of you, we have 4 people transitioning in on 1st of August. We have Brian Sandler, HR manager, who's coming from Renton, Matt Creeley, PC network specialist, Vlad Shedrin, who's going to be our building inspector, which is very important because, as you will see soon, we have a separation coming. Roy Simmons is leaving. Yeah, our senior building inspector, plans examiner.
Has he been here long?
He's been here 2 to 3 years.
Right before the shutdown. So
okay.
I think it was January of 2020.
We'll say it feels like he has been here long. So we're going to miss him.
Yeah.
His presence. So Caitlin Forsberg, again, she was on this list, I believe, last time. She's promoting to permit tech from being in finance at the utility billing counter. We have settled on a finalist for assistant planner, so that is great. Staffing for the 3rd floor. Updates on receipt of applications. We have a few full-time openings. We're still working through the police officer vacancy, meaning we just did oral boards. We're going to certify scores hopefully early next week so that Chief can do his final interviews with them. Accounting specialist, just receiving applications.
Do you have a lot for that one?
We have a dozen applicants.
Okay.
We just opened it externally in the
Okay.
last maybe 5 days. I expect to see a lot more applications just because it's a more of a closer to an entry level position. And usually for admins or that type of position, we see a lot. This is accounting, so a little more focused. And then we're going to open up the maintenance worker too, probably externally because we only received 1 internal candidate. But we want to put them through the process, of course, as well. We just would like to see what we can get because we have some specific water focuses that we're looking for. As for separations, like I said, Roy Simmons is separating on August 10th. So I know Jason upstairs is working through a plan because we'll need some, potential support there while we recruit. Al Young, expected retirement likely mid-August. That is all I have. Any questions on this?
We're busy.
I think the only other thing I would add is that we will be able to recruit sooner than we thought for Dana's position. He was the parks lead.
Yeah, and we'll also, we might have that same potential with city engineer. Just a little background with Roy. I'd encourage you to talk to him if you get a chance. This was a hard decision for Roy since he started with us. He's been commuting in from Ocean Shores.
Wow.
Every day.
Oh, wow.
Every day.
And this was a hard decision.
Right? I mean, that's and I want to point that out because Roy has been an absolute all-star for us, and he's going to really be. But as I told him when I sat down to talk to him about this, it would have been foolish for him not to have gone for this. He'll be the building official in Ocean Shores.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so it's a really good step up for him.
To Bonney Lake.
What's that?
Is he going to move to Bonney Lake?
yeah, just because he loves the commute, right? But really excited for him. Bummed for us, but it's going to be such a great thing for him. Well on that.
Yeah, we hope to open that later this week.
Looking good. Good job. Thanks, Deb.
All right. Thank you. Business and action items. AB 2299, allocation of ARPA funding to replace the chiller in the public safety building. Jeter.
Not here.
Okay.
That's
somebody else?
No bids came in.
Oh, okay. I saw the email on that. No bids. I wasn't sure if something else was new, right?
He did not get any bids. Oh, that stinks. Okay.
Not for this meeting anyway.
Okay.
If he did, he would have.
Yeah, I think the plan is that I'll bring this forward again on August 9th.
If there's bids, yeah.
It's a bad time to ask for that right now.
Right.
Oh, slammed.
It's hot.
Okay, moving on to the next one. AB 22105, Resolution 3067, authorizing Judge Daniels to sign an interagency agreement between the Washington State Administrative Offices of the Courts, Bonney Lake Municipal Court, and audiovisual grant funding. Judge, you're on.
I am. Yes, we applied for this grant. It's $30,000 that we don't have to pay back. We intend to use it to upgrade the audio-visual things in the courtroom. Kathy and Chuck worked on this quite a bit before we actually submitted the application for the grant. What we want to do with that money is add a projector system, hanging microphones, a lapel microphone setup, and and a laptop at the defense table with licensing.
And is the grant supposed to cover the whole thing? Or?
Yes.
Grant will cover 100% of what we're looking at. The grant AOC sent out was up to $50,000 per courtroom. And so Kathy and I kind of went through the things that our courtroom needs without going too far, because we definitely wanted to get the money because it's free. We don't have to pay anything back, and it's 100% of what we want. And as the judge mentioned, it's replacing the aged projector that we have currently. In the council chamber, you see that one kind of dangly mic that they use when they're bringing in jurors. Mm-hmm. It's actually, we're adding another one there and then one along the side, because they do the initial jury selection in one area and then the jury sits along the side wall. So no microphone over there. There'll be a microphone over there, as well as a stand microphone. I think it says lapel mic, but it'll actually be a stand microphone, wireless, that's added to the entire system, and council will benefit from all these.
Right. One of the
as well.
One of the good things about adding these additional microphones is that the lawyers, when they are doing their voir dire of the jurors, or they're doing direct examination or cross-examination of witnesses, or they're doing their closing arguments, they will actually have the ability to move around the courtroom. Right now, what they've had to do is they've had to stand like right next to the bench because they can't move around, because if they do, the jurors can't hear them.
Sure. You already approved some more, a little bit around ago earlier.
You did. Earlier this year, you approved some upgrades to allow the audiovisual system to integrate into like Blue Jeans or Zoom. We're just, it's been designed, it's been ordered,
so
supply chain, we're waiting for that.
Okay.
So and it's the same vendor who's maintained our existing system that's doing that project that ideally will be doing this project as well. So they have the schematics and the plans already set.
It'll
all hopefully mesh.
Seamless, right? Yeah.
It's seamless.
Exactly.
That'll be good.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great.
Excellent.
Do you have anything?
No, I think I'm good with that.
Okay. That's great.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, we'll keep looking for more money that we don't have to pay back.
I think that can go to consent. Yeah.
Yeah. Best way.
Yeah, that is the best way. Okay. Next is approval of meeting notes.
Have some corrections. Debbie has them.
Debbie has them.
She calls me Tom Watson now on council meeting. Not Councilman Watson, just Tom Watson.
Oh, yeah.
And a few more things.
Some other things on the side. Open discussion, business license revenue.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor. So we're revisiting something that we originally looked at on the May 17th workshop. At the time, what we were discussing was, well, let me back up. Current code says that any business located outside City of Bonney and who makes $2,000 or less in gross revenue is exempt from needing to pay for and obtain a business. The question came up, what does that look like if we raise the threshold to 10,000 and then applied that to businesses inside city limits? So I had Jody work with the Department of Revenue to track down what those numbers would be. And the number of business licenses that fall into that category the last 4 years, which goes back to the point at which the Department of Revenue started tracking in city versus outside city. In 2019, there was 93 of those that would fall into that in-city, less than $10,000 in gross revenue. In 2020, there was 43. In 2021, that came up to 326. And then currently, this year, we're already at 319. Revenue-wise, you just take those numbers, you multiply by $60, which is the fee for the business license. And that would yield in 2019 with 93 business licenses, that was about $5,500. The next year, even lower, is 43, that's $2,600. In 2021, we had a significant jump, it was $19,560. And this year so far, that's revenue of $19,140 that we would not have if we raised the threshold. So that's really the extent of what it was I was intending to provide. I can, ask some questions, but as it looks right now, and if the trend continues, we're in the $20,000 neighborhood, or more each year for businesses inside city limits and under $10,000 in revenue that currently have to get business licenses.
How would the logistics of that go? Because that's something that is done through the state's website.
Correct.
Is that something that they can put that as a radio button or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked into that briefly. And I forget what it is. It's the BLS, I think, is what it's called, or something like that, through the Department of Revenue. Obviously, the city still retains the authority to be able to set fees wherever they like and to change the exemptions. I looked at what some other cities are doing. Most stuck with the $2,000 that I think was just part of the model ordinance that we passed in 2018. Some cities have raised it to 10. There was one that was at 12,000. Actually, I think that was Puyallup, but they also offset some of that with a head tax. But it was kind of across the board, that most people stuck with 2,000. Point being, we can set it wherever we want. We notified it whatever we want. We notify the Department of Revenue. One thing that seemed to be consistent with those cities that were, some of them had, they would eliminate the fee, but they would still require the business license. So it's a no-cost business license. And if this is a direction the council really wants to go, I would make the recommendation for your consideration that we continue to require the business license.
Absolutely, yeah.
It would just not have the $60 fee associated with it.
That was my intent when I brought it up. I found out that we couldn't change it for, I think it was 4 years, Sherry. So that's why I literally put it on my calendar 4 years ago to discuss it this year.
Yeah.
But it was something that the mayor of Ording had brought up when they adopted theirs, which was shortly after ours. But when I went back to Jen to talk to her about it, it was already kind of set in stone at that point. But the point was brought up between 2,000 and 10,000. What service is this business getting from the city? And then I don't know that there is much of one that, that $60, $25,000 potentially over the next couple of years each year. But I think it's worth noting that, we are trying to be business friendly for these smaller businesses, and just I don't see what service we would be providing as a city to that company.
What cost is there in us keep putting out a business license for a city?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I was going to mention there that there certainly is a cost on the city. It's fairly minimal. I can say from the public services perspective, and Sherry, please speak up if there's something from finance I'm not aware of. But from public services, there's a few hours there in working with the Department of Revenue, getting the paperwork together, and so on, visiting with the applicant if they come in, or preparing the postage, I assume, to mail it out. It's not huge, but certainly the $60 did help offset that cost or that time and effort.
We don't any longer do anything in the city for the business license.
I'm sorry.
We no longer do anything in the city for the business license. It's all handled online.
Pretty much,
they,
yeah.
Years ago, but they dropped it off 10 years ago, where you don't come in here at all, because nothing else you can do for. I questioned it once before.
Okay. Yeah.
And all I do when I get my license, I go online, click on it, and the city gets the money.
Yeah, certainly with the advent of the online thing, it's decreased the amount of effort.
Here.
The city does approve every business license. So a city employee in Ryan's department does look through the application and either approve, reject, or return the application. So there's still a
small amount.
That.
And I think that was a change with the state, the BLS system, where they either required you to go through them or another entity. And I'm looking at it in regards to B&O tax, because I was thinking, gosh, wouldn't it be great if you put the two on the same tax? Sorry, my dog he's back talking if you hear him. But the way BLS is set up, they don't want to get rid of that because they take a portion of everything, right? They're making money too somehow. So to combine it with B&O will be a difficult feat, is my understanding. So
BLS, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
I think it's called the business license.
no,
service
business
or-
license
okay.
service, yeah, yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was doing some other stuff with BLS, so I wasn't sure.
Different one.
What was when you wanted to bring this back? What was your intent to have it set at 10,000 or a different amount?
No, I when I brought it up, I wanted to do 10,000 for in city. I'm fine keeping the 2,000 threshold for outside of city.
Okay, that was going to be a question.
Yeah. So I'm not. I mean, I know when I was a general contractor, we had probably 36 city business licenses that we had. And if I just came up here to do a service call on a Starbucks, I had to have a business license up here.
Yeah,
So
it's always been that way.
yeah, so I'm fine with the out of city stuff. But yeah, for the most part, it was just the garage shops that just selling stuff on Etsy.
Yeah.
To pay for.
So
I think those are exempt, aren't they, Brian? I was going to say Jason, but you're not Jason. Sorry.
No, I am not. Yeah, I believe in our code it exempts. Is it online sales or I'd have to go back and double check, but yes, there is an exemption there that I'd need to look into. But
As an online apparel sales company,
we
had to do that because when we checked all the boxes,
yeah,
said, here's your $60 fee.
I'd have to go back and look at that to be sure.
And it may be in our code, but it might be separate on the state's website.
I think specifically it was any businesses owned by council members still had to pay.
Probably.
No.
Yeah.
Including me.
That's exactly what it was.
I think we're going to be over that threshold.
I think so, yeah, quite a bit.
So really at this point, it's a question of again, what the council would like to, I wasn't clear from our last meeting what the direction was beyond bringing it back to finance committee. So, as far as I know up to this point, it was bring it back and present it to you.
Yeah, I still think we're a few months out before we can actually change that as far as what the state requirement was.
Yeah.
Help a small business guy who doesn't do much. I think it's a great way to go.
Would this be an item that then needs to come back to the full council, I'm assuming, or can the committee just make the direction and I can start to prepare an agenda bill and ordinance for that time?
I think that'd be, because that's going to come before the council. I would say if we did that, just bring it.
I would agree. I think if you do an agenda bill, it's going to go before the council at that point. So
just do it on the finance committee agenda rather than.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you'd like me to go ahead and write that up so it's 10,000. The threshold is 0 to 10,000 is the envelope, if you will, in city.
Yeah.
0 to 2,000 for outside.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
The only issue I have with it is I would be concerned anytime we're taking away revenue from the city, right? And I like the idea of it, but at the same time, we know we're in a hole with the city, and so now we're continuing to dig.
There's one more metrics here that we're not accounting for, and of the 300, how many are in city?
So the number that I have here right now, it's a total of 319 for this year that are in city.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's a combination of both new and renewals.
And then can we raise it to $65 for those
for everybody else
that have to get it to offset that?
I mean, honestly, it's just a fee adjustment, I would think, and that's
codified.
We just need to revise it.
How many business licenses are there, approximately?
Ooh,
there's like 6,000.
Let's see. Let's go back to the year prior. For 2021, it looks like there was a total of 2,159.
$2,795. So that $5 covers half of those costs.
Yeah. What do most cities charge for their business license?
Good question. I need to verify that. I don't have that
So
number.
I'm thinking $100 right now.
Right. Yeah. Maybe they're doing 150.
Well,
I don't know.
they charge more in Tacoma. I used to get my license down there.
Because going from 60 to 100 is $40. That's $86,000.
Right.
That covers that 25 and puts another 40 in our offers.
Yeah.
That is all.
I know Kathleen said that she has to register with every city that she works for. I don't know where she works, but she said that we were one of the cheaper ones. And online is not exempt. What I was thinking of was like the vendor booths, the people that did that stuff at the, Bonney Lake Days and stuff. Those things are exempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, can you figure out what the amount to raise it so we're not we're breaking even? But change the raise it.
$10.
If you'd like me to,
$10.
Yeah.
if you'd like me to come up with a number, and it sounds like we roughly did, that would offset the change here. So offset maybe,
Yeah, $5 was
25,000.
$5 was $10,000, so 10 would be 20. Yeah.
If you'd like, I can also look out what neighboring jurisdictions are charging for business.
I would be
licenses.
interested in that. If we're super far below what everybody else is doing, then we should maybe look at that, right? We
Yeah.
should. I don't want to be like, hey, you have to
Yeah,
pay
but-
more money to work to do your job here, but at the same time, like we should be comparable.
Mhm.
There's more people now in the city there. We're growing, so
Yeah.
they allow them to.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. I don't know if that requires another finance committee discussion, or if I just shoot you all an email with that looks like. I don't know what's appropriate in that case. I'm
I think
happy to
we're
bring it
all on the
back.
same page,
Yeah.
so I think if you just want to do an
Just
email,
Sure.
and then yeah,
We can just-
And like I said, even on your agenda, Bill, we're still a few months out from that code revision being able to be changed. So
yeah. So maybe when you do that, just one deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Got what I need.
All right, right on.
me too.
Yeah. Any other open discussion? All right. I'm good. We are adjourned.
Right.
Easy ones in there.
Yeah.